On January 22nd, 2 days after inauguration, the Trump administration put this out, saying, fact sheet, President Donald J. Trump ends DEI madness and restores excellence and safety within the Federal Aviation Administration. People should be concerned that Elon Musk has so much power within our government. He is an unelected official, and he's sitting up here making decisions for our country. So on January 20th, the FAA administrator quit because Elon Musk told him to resign. The FAA's leader stepped down on January 20th, months after Elon Musk demanded he quit. The move by Michael Whitaker means the FAA has no Senate-confirmed leader for one of the biggest crises in its history because he quit before Donald Trump took office. Whitaker ran the FAA for just a year, but announced in December that he would step down on January 20th as the new president was sworn in. So he stepped down before all of this started popping off with the memo and the DEI, and we're demanding excellence and the hiring freeze and all. Nobody has taken his place. Last week, specialist aviation site The Air Current reported that industry veteran Chris Rocheleau has been sworn in as deputy FAA administrator, which would put him in acting charge of the agency. The Wall Street Journal had first reported that he would become deputy. Okay, so back to this memo. No one is going to be able to tell me that the Trump administration swooped into the FAA, looked into the hiring practices, the interviews, the standards to see if there were any policy issues that needed to really be addressed, that there were any standards that need to be addressed. They had just demonized DEI for so long that they knew that they were going to come in and start willy-nilly firing people. And this has harmed folks because and is doing irreparable damage because now you see a non-white person and you just imagine that person is a DEI hire. That's someone that doesn't have the credentials or the achievements to be in this position, and is setting people up to discriminate simply because you're not a white man. Anyways, this is the memo that they put out. Flights should be supervised by the best employees. President Donald J. Trump has signed a presidential memorandum terminating a Biden administration federal aviation hiring policy that prioritized DEI over safety and efficiency. Did it really? Why are they saying that they prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion over safety and efficiency? As if people of color, as if, being inclusive means that there's no safety and efficiency. Why are they putting these words out there that's setting up vitriol and that's setting up racism and discrimination right there? This presidential memorandum orders the Secretary of Transportation and FAA administrator to immediately stop Biden DEI hiring programs and return to non-discriminatory merit-based hiring. It also requires the FAA administrator to review the past performance and performance standards of all FAA employees in critical safety positions and make clear that any individual who fails to demonstrate adequate capability is replaced by someone who will ensure Americans' flight safety and efficiency. You know his people had this stuff written up before he even took the oath of office. I know that he didn't read this, and the fact that they didn't actually have time to do any investigation and they just fired people meant that they were already understaffed. Now they are severely understaffed. This is from the Daily Beast. Staffing at DC's airport control tower was not normal the night of the crash. A preliminary report suggests control tower staffing was inadequate when American Airlines airplane collided with a U.S. Army helicopter, plunging 67 people to their death in the icy Potomac River below. That assessment was made by the FAA on Thursday, a day after the deadly crash, as questions and conspiracies swirl about who or what is to blame. The administration wrote that Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport's control tower staffing was not normal for the time of day and volume of traffic it was experiencing just before 9 p.m. Wednesday. Investigators concluded a single person was doing a job meant for two, juggling the duty of monitoring helicopters in the airport's vicinity, as well as guiding planes that were landing and departing from its runways. The findings are seemingly in line with the years-long problem that has plagued the U.S. aviation industry, a shortage of air traffic controllers. The FAA stopped short of blaming the controller or anyone else for Wednesday's tragedy, but the Times noted the double duty of handling choppers and airliner traffic can increase the workload and complicate the job. Those two jobs are especially complicated to handle simultaneously because planes and helicopters speak with the tower using different radio frequencies, meaning the pilots do not typically hear each other's communication. Audio obtained by the Daily Beast captured communication between the tower and the doomed American Airlines jet, a Bombardier CRJ 700 that was arriving from Wichita, Kansas. The air traffic controller can be heard asking the helicopter, PAT 2-5, do you have the CRJ in sight? The tower then directed the helicopter to go behind the jet, saying, PAT 2-5, pass behind the CRJ. The tragedy would strike moments later, with the plane's radio transponder ending the transmission about 2,400 feet short of the runway. In the control tower, a woman can be heard gasping and saying, "Oh my God," before the audio cuts out. 15 seconds later, someone radios in, "Tower, did you see that?" The Times report that the tower at the Reagan Airport has been understaffed for years and was nearly a third below targeted staff levels as of September 2023. It is unclear if staffing was beefed up in the year and a half since then, but there is no public evidence that suggests there has been a hiring wave to fill the gaps. These people working that night are going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives for what they have seen, what they've heard, and all of the blame that's going to be shifted to them. They were understaffed. They were set up for the okie doke, and now they're going to have to carry that trauma with them for the rest of their lives. There's a content creator named Ken Kiplenstein that got a tip from an airline pilot. This man typed out a letter to Ken. Now, obviously, anybody can type up a letter and send it to a content creator. But if you see below, there is an article in the San Francisco Chronicle that kind of corroborates this letter. This article from the San Francisco Chronicle is behind a paywall. It says key airport along approach to San Francisco Airport may lose all traffic controllers this week. And this was just put out yesterday. So this is being reported on in the newspaper. Like I said, it's behind a paywall. I'm not going to go searching it out, but it just lends credence to this letter that I'm about to read. This person says, "Hi, Ken. I'm a pilot and received this email from the airport manager about an issue that has been a growing problem for years in the Bay Area and is now growing even worse. San Carlos Airport is an airport within 10 miles of San Francisco International Airport, and it will have no traffic controllers starting February 1st. The departure route for San Carlos directly overlaps the arrival path of San Francisco. San Carlos also hosts two of the area's largest flight schools. This means you now have a situation where inexperienced pilots will be departing into highly complex airspace using solely their own judgment and reading of charts so as to not collide with aircraft landing at San Francisco. This happened because the airport operates off an FAA contract for staffing controllers rather than the FAA directly providing controllers. This system has always been tenuous. It was previously not uncommon for the contractor to only provide a single controller for all traffic. There are recordings on YouTube of the tower needing to shut down because the controller had to use the bathroom and no one else was working. Now, a new contractor has underbid the existing and decided to remove existing contract and decided to remove the cost of living adjustments for staff. All controllers have left, and the new contractor plans to operate the airport with no controllers. This means pilots need to coordinate with each other instead. I've been disturbed by the operation of contract towers ever since becoming a pilot. During the first Trump administration, I feared what privatization of all air traffic control would bring. After Trump posted about air traffic control being at fault in last night's midair collision in D.C., I'm concerned they will use this as a springboard to push for more private towers. I write this to you to say that this will bring more safety risk, and more people need to understand a real-life example of what chaos a contract tower can create when put in such a busy and complicated airspace. He ends with, "Thank you for your time. Sorry to bother you with an email, but the accident last night has been a tipping point, and I don't know how else to spread awareness." So here's the memo regarding the lack of staffing starting tomorrow. Bear with me, the writing is kind of small once I get into the body of the letter. It says, beginning on Saturday, February 1st, the San Carlos Federal Contract Tower will be unstaffed. The airport, in collaboration with SCAPA and SCFC, has been in continuous communication with the FAA regarding the transition of air traffic service providers for the San Carlos Federal Contract Tower. This morning, we were informed by the FAA headquarters that the SQL tower will be unstaffed starting Saturday, February 1st. The FAA has awarded a new contract for air traffic services at SQL to Robinson Aviation. However, the contract does not include locality pay to account for the high cost of living in the San Francisco Bay Area. As a result, RVA's employment offers to current SQL controllers were significantly lower than their current compensation under SERCO. Understandably, all current controllers have declined RVA's offer. Our controller's last day at SQL will be Friday, January 31st. If you have the chance, please thank them for the excellent service they have provided at SQL for the past year. Given that the FAA is ultimately responsible for ensuring air traffic services at SQL, we requested temporary FAA staffing for the tower, a solution currently being implemented at Eagle Airport in Colorado during its transition from SERCO to RVA. However, the FAA informed us this morning that they will not provide temporary personnel for SQL. The airport has been told it will receive daily updates from FAA headquarters regarding SQL tower staffing. We will forward pertinent updates to keep you all informed on the status of staffing in the SQL tower. We are working closely with Congressman Mullen's office to push the FAA to meet its obligation to provide air traffic services at SQL. Lastly, we are actively exploring all options to return the SQL tower to SERCO or FAA staffing. How you can help. To emphasize the critical need for high-quality air traffic control services at SQL, given our high traffic volume, IFR arrivals and departures, extensive flight training, complex airspace, and proximity to San Francisco Airport, we encourage you to file the FAA hotline complaints to raise awareness of this urgent issue. Important reminders: check NO something before flying. Check the flight logs, I guess. Review and follow procedures for non-towered airport flight operations at SQL. Please continue to follow our voluntary noise abatement procedures. We'll keep you updated on this important issue as we learn more. Feel free to reach out with any questions and she gave this email. So that's the crazy thing. I am doing this. I'm talking about this airport because not necessarily because of the crash, but because these people are about to start trying to privatize everything. And that is about to come along with this oligarchy, this broligarchy that wants to buy up everything and then push down prices, push down wages. They want to push down wages and really make a poorer class. But you can't do that with everything. You can't do that with airlines and the flight control processes. So I wonder what other situations, what other devastation we're going to see because of the firing, the understaffing, and the privatization of these things that should be federally funded. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all of this. It's a lot, I know. Don't forget to like, comment.